I'm back. Holy sh!
No.
Everybody, yeah, I'm back. Welcome back to, whatever, Drewing a Blank. Today we're going to talk about my favorite vintage lens. So this is part two. The first one you saw, a little recap of the footage would be some of the spider bits. And that was shot using what I like to call my favorite vintage lens. And I didn't go into a lot of details, I just kind of made an overview piece. A lot of people are asking, so what I wanted to do is kind of show you guys a breakdown on the lens, kind of the functionality, the pieces, parts, why I love it so much, and the different looks I can get out of it. Because not just the spider, there's some other actual pro-grade content, if you will, things that I've sold to clients with this look and made some money off of it. So let's kind of start with the lens itself. This is it here. This is a Minolta, and I believe it's like an MD mount is what the back end is called, but it's a Minolta, it's a Rokkor. That means it's a nice clean lens. It's Japanese lens. It has not been declicked. I just haven't spent the money to declick it, so it still has that delightful clicky sound to it, which I don't mind so much. It doesn't really bother me as some, but the downside of that is every once in a while, you know, you can't get those splits. And I like to shoot a lot of times whatever's best exposure, and sometimes that's a split, and with the clicks, it's a little bit harder to get a split on it. So I would suggest declicking if you can find one. The other side that makes this lens particularly interesting, it's a 50 mil. Now that said, when you have it applied to the red, it's fine because it's a 4K sensor and it's native and it goes right in, Super 35, and it gives us a straight 1-to-1, so a 50 is a 50. However, on something like a GH5s or Sony or anything else, you're going to get a crop element. On a Canon you wouldn't, but on these you would. So on a Micro Four Thirds you're going to get that crop element. You guys mostly know all that already. I'm just reminding those who may not. This 50 without an adapter or focal reducer, some people call them speed boosters, is going to make it 100. So suddenly this 50 is a Hondo. And certainly I feel like the characteristics of this lens are due in part to its focal length, and we'll talk about those in just one second. Alright, so to make this lens work, it's a multi-adapter scenario. So you have this MD mount here, and so then you're going to need this this adapter. Now this particular one, I don't even know, oh, this is by Photodiox. So this is old, I've had this for a number of years, but this Photodiox connects on, if I can find the dots, there it is. So this Photodiox connects on like that, and so now you have the MD, so it takes this lens and it makes it for EOS. So now it'll work for Canon mount. So an EF mount, same thing. So it'll work for an EF mount. I think this cost me like 150 bucks when I bought it, but again, this was several years ago, more than several actually, upwards of 8. But it connects very well and it works really well. Then from that point, you've got a couple of options. It's not going to fit directly to a Micro Four Thirds. So again, I would either connect a speed booster or I would do a straight pass-through. The straight pass-through is going to give you 100 mil, like I said, or roughly. And then the speed booster is going to take you probably closer to a 65, which is great. It does what it needs to do. It's close. It's a beautiful lens. Now let's kind of talk about the lens characteristics. Now I do believe in part, since I don't have a way of actually seeing this lens pure ND version, so I cannot see this MD version, sorry. I cannot see this version purely MD because I do not have an MD mount video camera, so I have to use the adapter. So that said, I believe that is changing some aspect because it has a focal reducer on the back as well, a magnifier piece. So this is not a straight pass-through. It does have an optic. It has some glass in it, and I believe that is altering somewhat of the image. So, but I'm very happy with the way it looks. So this combination, and then you add a speed booster and it's even better. The f-stops on this lens, and this affects the look greatly. It's a very fast lens. This particular model goes to a 1.7, which is very fast for a native lens. It's good. I mean, I've had some 2.1s and they're solid. The one thing about this lens that's really interesting, and I'll show you guys here, is if we look at something that's shot at a 2.8, so this is all 2.8 footage right here, and you can kind of see it's got it looks pretty, the bokeh's gorgeous, but it's a 2.8. If we then take this exact same looking footage, and I'm going to try and see if I match it up, but we'll take this exact footage. If I slam it to it wide open, so if we go WFO to a 1.7, a couple things happen. First, you get this weird bloom effect, which is beautiful. It's really great on skin tones. It almost looks like you've either gelled the lens or Vaseline the lens, or you put some kind of pro mist in the front. It really softens the image. It also makes for beautiful bokeh in the background. It's really, really wild looking stuff. And what we found by using this and using those two little techniques and having that ability is this lens matching up with anamorphic lenses or other glass. Sometimes this lens stands out, and then sometimes it mixes right in. On the anamorphic side, obviously it's not perfect, but in a detailed close-up I can cheat it and get away with it a little bit more. That's more or less it. That's the lens itself. It is a two-part. You're going to need multiple parts to make it work. You can find some of these on eBay. This happened to be my father's, so it was passed down to me. He had a whole set of various ones. I wish I had more of these. But you can find these lenses on eBay. I've seen them go for really cheap sometimes. And the other side of it is just experimenting. You know, just find the experimentation. So what I want to do is go get some more MD lenses, since I already have this MD adapter. Find some more MD lenses and see what else I can get out of some of those lenses and see what they do. All right, that's it. That's the show. That's me. I'm back. I'm back, baby. Woo! I'm back. Oh, that was Batman. I think I'm supposed to say hit the notification bell. I don't know. You can subscribe too, but I think if you subscribe, you got to hit the little ding dong bell to make sure that we're still in the loop, if you even care. If not, I get it too. This channel's super erratic. We try to just put out stuff when we feel like we have time to do it, and it's responsible for us to do so. Yeah, that's my lens. I'm out. That's enough of me talking. Goodbye.